Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we living. Here we are continuing our NFL Mount Rushmore series. This will be the 13th of 32 teams that I have done. We are going in alphabetical order. So today will be the Houston Texans. In these, I attempt to name the four best players in franchise history, only looking at how they perform for said team. So today, Houston Texans. Of course, as a subjective list, you are free to let me know in the comments what you disagree with, maybe you agree, who you would include in your Mount Rushmore. Definitely want to hear from all of you. The Houston Texans haven't been around all that long, 20 seasons starting in 2002, have yet to appear in a Super Bowl, have won four playoff games, a 4-6 career playoff record. Did have some level of success from 2011 to 19, made the playoffs 6 of 9 seasons, made it for 4 or 5 years from 2015 to 2019, but have only won 8 combined games the past 2 years. But they've had some great players over the years. There are three guys that I found pretty easy to pick. It's the fourth guy that'll be a bit of a challenge, but let's get into it. And we're going to start with the guy that came in fourth in mine. I'm naming him alphabetical order. They're not ranked. Um, Arian Foster. So Arian Foster, not saying he didn't deserve it. He was just he was in a little bit of a battle between a couple other guys for this fourth spot on the Mount Rushmore, and I'll be naming a bunch of honorable mentions at the end. Arian Foster was an undrafted player playing from 2019 to 15 with the Texans, making four Pro Bowls, was a first team All Pro in 2010. That season, he finished third in Offensive Player of the Year voting, led the league with 1,616 rushing yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, and also led with 2,220 yards from scrimmage. That was each of his four Pro Bowl seasons. He had at least 1,224 rushing yards for his career. With the Texans, he did play 4 games with the Dolphins in 2016. Uh, Foster had 6,472 rushing yards, 54 rushing touchdowns, while adding 249 receptions with 14 scores. Safe to say, Arian Foster is definitely the best running back in franchise history and one of the four members of the Texans Mount Rushmore. Next, we got DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins was part of a trade to the Cardinals that many fans see completely one-sided. Texans did not get enough back for a guy that performed out of this world from 2013 to 2019 with the Texans. In that span, he was named to 4 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros each of his last 3 seasons with Houston. Went over 1,000 yards in 5 of his 7 seasons with the team. Led the league with 13 touchdown scores in 2017, where he finished fourth in Offensive Player of the Year voting. The following year, 2018, he finished third. He had 3 seasons with Houston with over 100 receptions, 3 where he scored double-digit times via the passing game. Altogether with the Texans, 632 catches, 8,602 yards, and 54 scores. DeAndre Hopkins is one of 2 wide receivers on this Mount Rushmore, along with Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson was taken third overall in a 2003 NFL draft by the Texans. Ended up playing 12 seasons for the team before ending in stops with the Colts and the Titans. With the Texans, was named a Pro Bowler 6 times, a first-team All-Pro twice, led the league in receptions in 2006 and 2008. Back-to-back seasons, 2008 and 2009, led in receiving yards. Altogether, he had 7 to 12 seasons with Houston, in which he went over the century mark in receiving yards, and altogether in his 12 seasons with the team had 1,012 receptions for 13,597 yards and 64 scores. Andre Johnson, the third member of the Texans Mount Rushmore. And let's end with who is obviously the best defensive player in franchise history, that being J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt was drafted 11th overall by the Texans back in, sorry, 2011. He ended up playing 10 seasons with the team before spending last year with the Arizona Cardinals. Five-time Pro Bowler, five-team first-team All-Pro, three-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2012, 2014, and 2015. In his 10 seasons with the Texans, sacked the quarterback 101 times. Five of those seasons reaching double digits, led the league with 20 and a half in 2012, 17 and a half with 2015, also had 20 and a half sacks in 2014, 16 in 2018, three times led the league in tackles for loss. J.J. Watt is one of the best defensive ends of all time. Career still going. Unfortunately, he got slowed down by injuries, so by the time his career is over, he might not be amongst the all-time, let's say, top 10 in sack leaders. But let's face it, he was one of still is, the most feared defenders the game has ever seen. J.J. Watt, obvious choice for this Mount Rushmore. So as I mentioned, three of the four were easy. Hopkins, Andre Johnson, J.J. Watt. Arian Foster eventually earned my fourth spot, but the other two I considered for that were left tackle Dwayne Brown and Deshaun Watson. Not looking at off the field issues, only play on the field. Just overall, Deshaun Watson probably didn't play, hasn't played enough games with the team in order to qualify, thus going with Arian Foster. Other honorable mentions include Jonathan Joseph, Matt Schaub, Chris Myers, Mario Williams, D'Amico Ryans, and Jadeveon Clowney. So that is it. We have done 13 of these Mount Rushmores. We got 19 left. Tomorrow will be the Indianapolis Colts, who had a much longer tenure as a franchise than the Houston Texans. That ought to be an interesting one. So keep checking them out. I hope you guys have enjoyed these. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.